So one was in my local market, I served and I gained access. Second was in my upline. I served and I gained access. I went to the home office. I drove to the home office. Back then it was in Memphis, Tennessee, from Minneapolis. Again, it was, I don't know, 14-hour drive. I drove there just to meet the people at the home office, to take a home office tour and to meet the influential people so they knew my name. Why did I do that? So my name would start being talked about here and there. Hey, this young kid, he came down to the home office and he's a sharp kid. And if that name came up around an influential person, maybe I could gain some access because of that. That helped me tremendously. So my company, my local market, and my upline. Now, in addition to this, some people say take a millionaire to lunch. It's difficult to take a millionaire to lunch because they're busy and they're protective of their circle of influence because they understand that you're going to bring their average down. So here's what I did. I drove this nasty, ridiculous AMC Spirit car. If you ever want to Google a car, it's the most miserable car in the history of cars. It had a gas leak. The window didn't go all the way down, and it would rotate gas through the windows, constantly. It was miserable looking, and the muffler was half off, and all this kind of stuff. So every time I went to meet with anyone, I parked around the corner and I walked. I didn't want them to see my car. But so with all of this challenge, how do I get influence? You know what really helped me? Programs like this. Back then, it was audio cassette. We didn't have the internet, and we didn't have video, and we didn't have learning systems like this, and it certainly wasn't free. What I got my hands on was audio cassettes from people like Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and Les Brown and Dennis Waitley and Og Mandino and these giants of personal development. And they became one of my 5. By just being in my car, listening over and over and over, they became one of my 5. And what happened when I started to listen over and over and over, I could start to use the language that they used in conversation with other people. I could bring value to a conversation of people more successful than me that maybe didn't hear what I heard from that program. There was one speaker that I really admired, one of the top leaders in the company I really admired. I wanted to work with him so bad. And I found a way to connect with this person, and he was very successful, and I was just a fledgling person. And I would start to give him ideas. I would say, hey, I read this book. You should. I remember I recommended to him, there's a book called Unlimited Wealth by Paul Zane Pilzer, and it talked about distribution was going to be the future of the world. It wasn't going to be manufacturing anymore. It was going to be distribution. Distribution of goods and distribution of information. So I started pulling quotes, and I would send him quotes. Hey, you maybe use this in your next presentation. Use this in your next training. And he used it, and people loved it, and they were, oh my gosh, this is great. Send me more if you got any more, kid, right? And I hosted a training event in Minneapolis, and I had some of the top leaders come in. He was one of the leaders, and I sat down afterwards and said, what can I do to spend more time and work with you? And he said, well, I don't know, I'm busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I do appreciate this. You sent me this, you sent me that. And he went home, and I sent him a card afterwards and said, hey, thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. And if I can do anything, one of my goals is to work with you. Some way, somehow. He was cross-line, he wasn't in my organization, but just work together. Why did I want to work together? Why did I want to serve that relationship as a young man? Because I understood that if I got around people who were committed to excellence, that excellence was going to start to rub off on me. Okay? So, my car being a drive time university, I'll never forget. I put Jim Rohn in my car and I wore it out. Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Dennis Waitley, Og Mandino, greatest salesman in the world, all these different people, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, everything. I was reading books, I was studying, I was learning, I was growing, and I was listening all the time. And I would imagine that Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and Og Mandino were sitting in the back seat of my car, and they were just having a conversation. I got to listen in. And that was incredible value for me. So I'll never forget, 6 years after I started doing that, I'm about 30 years old, and I'm in my car, which is a nice car now, a decent car, in Dallas, Texas, and in the back seat of my car were Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, and Og Mandino. for real. And they're sitting in the backseat of my car having a conversation. I'm just driving them to their hotel. But they're having a conversation. I'm going, oh my gosh, I attracted this. I set this thing in motion, and guess what? Now I get to hang around with legends. I get to learn from incredibly wise, unbelievable people. So today, I'm still engaged in this. Why do you think I seek out and interview people like Brian Tracy, of course, but like Tony Robbins? I'll be interviewing Sir Richard Branson on June 3rd. I mean, come on. The opportunity to spend time with these people. And why will they do it? Because I'm a servant to them. Because I want to help their mission in life. Because I want to be of value, of service in some way in their world. And you know what? I found I can earn my way into any group. And so can you. You can earn your way into a group of unbelievable recruiters, a group of unbelievably productive people, of unbelievably successful, moving through the ranks, changing people's lives, ambassadors for the network marketing profession. You can earn your way into that group. Or you can earn your way into a much more negative group. And you know, the bad associations in your life happen automatically. They're like weeds in a garden. They happen automatically. The good ones don't happen automatically. Those only happen by effort and work and focus and determination. The weeds happen automatically. That negative person that's always whispering in your ear, and you know who I'm talking about, the ones that's saying, well, that's always blaming, that's always trying to give you justification for not working, that's always trying to distract you, that's always trying to just chip away at your self-confidence. You know that person. That person needs to be on the very furthest fringe of your life, unless you want to sacrifice your life to keep them happy. See, here's the thing. If you continue to grow, you'll earn your way into different crowds. Some people will grow with you and some people won't. The fact that you grow and they don't doesn't mean you left them behind. It means that they stayed. And you decided that your contribution to the world was more important than making somebody else feel happy and appeasing somebody's negative influence. You cannot afford to be around people who are constantly distracting you from your purpose. You cannot do it. You have to focus on surrounding yourself with greatness, surrounding yourself with positivity, surrounding yourself with learners, surrounding yourself with people who are growing, surrounding yourself with people who are constantly reminding you, hey, you've got greatness inside of you. What are you doing? What are you doing? People who will grab you by the shirt and say, stop. Stop playing small. Why are you playing so small? Why do we do our big events? Our GoPro Recruiting Mastery event. We're going to have 20,000 people at GoPro Recruiting Mastery at the end of this year. Why? One of the biggest values of that event outside of the training is the vision. People come in there, they go, oh my gosh. They see a bigger picture, and that's what associations can do for you. You can see a bigger picture, but this is a choice. And it starts by, one, limiting your association with some negative people. In other words, don't spend as much time. Some of them you don't have a choice with, I understand. But spend a little less time. Be a little bit more busy in positive directions. Some you're going to have to cut the cord. You're going to have to disassociate, at least until you gather enough strength to be a positive influence with them. You're going to have to, for the sake of your own future, your own purpose, your own contribution in this world, you're going to have to make some hard decisions. You're going to have to disassociate with some. But mostly what I want you to focus on is expanding your association, being so busy and so surrounded by greatness that all those other petty little small thinking ideas don't even find their way into your mind, because you have filled it with incredible influence. So I hope this gives you some value. I mean, I think this lesson is valuable for you. It's valuable for your children. It's valuable for anyone who wants to do something great in the world. You have a choice. The fastest way to go to the top, in my opinion, is to surround yourself with people who are in that process. Surround yourself with people who are doing today what you want to do eventually. Earn your way into that group. Maybe it starts, the one thing that I need you to understand is many of my mentors I never met. Many of my greatest mentors I never met. They were a mentor on audio. They were a mentor on video. They were a mentor in books. I never met them, and they were still one of my 5. Do you understand? And then eventually I became powerful enough that I met many of them. And you can too. So that's our show for today. Hope you really radically take a look at your life, prune and pull the weeds of negativity out of your associations and replace them with incredible value, because you are worth it. That's our show for today. Ladies and gentlemen, my wish for all of you is that you decide to become a network marketing professional. You decide to go pro. You decide to surround yourself with greatness, because it is a stone cold fact that we have a better way. Now let's go tell the world. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.